Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. Thank you for tuning in. If you don't know me, my name is Tatro, here streaming live every Wednesday on the ADSR channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in with us today. We hang out every Wednesday. Sometimes we're making beats. Sometimes we're showcasing beats and music from the community, which is what we're doing today. Pretty much every other week we do a production challenge where we have some type of prompt that we all follow and go off of. And, we dive head first. We try something new. We try to push ourselves beyond our current skill set and try to just become better producers as part of a community, of course, which if you're not a part of our Discord community, that is something to make sure you jump into. You can find the link to that in the description, and that is how people submit the music for these bi-weekly challenges. I'm gonna say hello to all my friends in the chat. What's up, Kfu? What's up, MV Beckham, Wizlow, Kyle Gray Young, Bishop91? Thank you for being here. I seen the Ascent over in the Twitch chat as well. Hello, Justin McCaffrey, of course, is here, holding it down without any powers, but no BTTV emotes in this chat. Thank you all for being here this evening. We are going to go through a lot of original music from the challenge that was presented to us 2 weeks ago, which was to create a beat in the 6/8 time signature. As you all know, I like to keep it real with you all. I like to be super honest, super straightforward, but it's with peace and love because I want you all to be better producers. This was a tough one this week, my friends. It was tough. It's tough to work in an unfamiliar time signature anyway, and I think for a lot of the community, it was a bit of a hurdle. And there were some rough entries, I must say, but we are going to go through a lot of these entries. Some folks did the challenge and made a track in 6/8. Some folks didn't completely understand what 6/8 was and ended up making something that was closer to 3/4, which I will take some of the blame for that. I think I could have done a better job explaining what some of the differences were. And some people just straight up made tracks that were not in 3/4 or 6/8, and they were just like 4/4 tracks. But hey, peace and love. We're still gonna listen to them today. I'm gonna give you my reactions, give you my thoughts. And of course, we do choose 3 standouts each week that receive a $100 ADSR store voucher, and then one big standout gets, usually we have something nice for them, like some plugins or something from the store. And this week and next week actually, and next challenge, it happens to be the Phaserton 2 controllable space phaser, as well as the Drumazon by D16 hooking us up with these plugins. So shout out to them. Thank you for that. So it's worth entering these challenges, if not just for the community and the feedback and to push yourself to try something new. It's worth it because you can get your hands on either store voucher or cool plugin. Now, of course, I did mention the next challenge, which will be in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today. And of course we are going through the change of season, right? We're going into fall. And what we have for the coming challenge is we want you to make a song that marks the change of the season. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be from summer to fall. It could be from fall to winter. Could be from winter to spring, spring to summer. But I guess the intent of the challenge is just make sure that it is a very clear, it's very clear in your music that it's representing a change of season. Make sure those seasons are marked clearly. Just something to think about. So get ready to do that challenge in 2 weeks. You've got 2 weeks to work on it. So get ready. Can't wait to hear what you come up with for the change of the season. I think fall is my favorite season. If y'all want to drop what your favorite season might be in the chat, I would love to hear it. And then we're not going to take too much time chatting here because I want to get to playing some of the tracks from the submissions this week. So why don't we go ahead and get started doing that? I am going to bring this up here. I think I know how to do this. I have just so you know, a little background. I have 100 windows open all the music and then all the information that I need to know, etc., etc. By the way, I hope to see a lot of you participating in Beattober, which we all know is coming up. If some of you don't know what Beattober is, maybe somebody in the chat who does can help educate you. It is a challenge every month that folks can, not every month, every October, that folks can participate in daily beat making. Somebody will tell you more about it. Teacher.com/Beattober. But nonetheless, we're going to be reviewing like a lot of beats today. I know sometimes we only do like the top 3 or sometimes feedback, whatever. I think we're going through almost all the submissions if that's what got sent to me. Give you my raw reactions. Not going to go in too deep with a lot of feedback for all of them, but I'm going to shout out a couple things for each. So why don't we go ahead and get started here. In the first, and I'm going to make sure that my window is set up properly. The first one we have to listen to is Phantasmic by Ascent. Let's give it a listen. Ascent, always good for these sci-fi epics. So right off the gate here, I just want to say that this is closer to a 3/4 time signature, I'll say. Biggest difference, 3/4-6/8, is kind of where the accent comes from, so. Or where the accent lands, I should say. But Ascent is always bringing these smooth synthy jams. Really nice lead here. I also love this layered pattern here. You got that real low end bassy sound and then the sparkly ping pong delay synth on top as well. Makes for a very nice effect. It's not overcomplicated. Wizlow says, I love how you mix and master. Yes, the sense mixes sound very alive. What's up, Plain Strider? Interesting art here. You would think it would be more of like a big space epic, but it's very down, dirty, and gritty. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you see how we're counting that in 3. And a fade out at the end. All right. Thank you, Ascent, for that entry. We're going to keep things rolling. Like I said, I think a lot of people struggled with the time signature situation, which I probably could have done a better job of explaining it a couple weeks ago. But nonetheless, thank you, Ascent, for that entry. Let's keep it going. And let's bring up another entry. This one's a cool one for sure. Let's give it a listen. This is our friend Larryboy with 6/8 to Midnight. It's like a prog rock situation from the beginning. So what you want to listen to is that accent. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. You hear the accents there. What's good, what's good, what's good? Hi, Nico. My mom and dad in the chat, Amelia S. Are we going through all the tracks? I think so. I feel like we don't really get entries like this, Larryboy, so this is a good one. The drums just go crazy. I'm trying to think of what this reminds me of, but I can't quite put my finger on it. It could for sure be a video game. Like it could be like a high action sport video game. Pop rock edition of Sonic. Yeah, well, Sonic has some kind of pop punk-ish music in it. Solid bass line here. I think one piece of feedback I would have for this one, hello, is my screen coming back on, is that it's kind of like one energy level the whole time. I mean, that's not exactly true because it does build up. Like this section is just like, it's building up gradually and adding layers, and then there's the full-on section where we add ride bell hits, and that feels pretty good. But it kind of like doesn't let up at any point, and I think it would have been like really, really effective if there would have been a down section, like a section that features like a bass solo especially, and kind of builds back in that way. Just starting with just bass, building onto bass and the drum kit, and then eventually building back into the whole thing. Because right now it's very like in your face and high energy the whole time, which can be a bit like exhausting for the listener, which is not a bad thing for a high energy track like this, but I think it could definitely use from some contrast that way. I mean, this section is contrasting because we add in that sorry guys, I don't know why the HDMI is doing that. We add in that high energy guitar solo, super fuzzy and a really cool tone. So that's kind of the B section of the track, but it doesn't, the only thing different about it is that new instrument. Otherwise, it's the energy of the track is the same. You know what I mean? So that's pretty good. Nice job with that one, Larryboy. I'm pretty sure a proper example of 6/8. I'm counting that in 6/8. Again, coming down to like those accents, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically, there's two sets of eighth notes, right? 3 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you can visualize that. And the accents are at the beginning of each of those two sets. Which is ultimately what makes it different than 3/4. So let's keep it going. It's a 1 and a 2, 1 and a, it's just felt differently. Like go listen to We Are the Champions, and you'll kind of get a feel for it a little bit better. Let's keep it rolling though. We have another cool entry here. I'm always struggling with these windows and try to get them to show properly. Let me try this one more time. All right, next up we've got our friend Hydrotex, who's done very high level stuff in the past. So let's hear what we've got going this week. Oh, Larryboy, you just came through. We just finished checking out your track. Very interesting sound design wise. very good for upcoming Halloween soundtracks, perhaps. Says don't forget to support each other. Yes, go give a follow to all the artists here today if possible. And a good example of just like pulling back. It's really helping to build the tension here. Hey, what's up, Aiko? Just some of these percussion things that are happening are just so almost like visceral, like you can feel them. Where's it all gonna go? Here's that drop. Michael G says, hell, Hydra scaring me with the spooky. Exactly. Brilliant little outro here. Back it up. Very good outro there. I just want to point out, actually both intro and outro. You notice like the intro content does a good job of setting up what is to come without being like just material that we hear later, like layered and looped onto. And then the outro also does a very good job of bringing back in that hint of flute, maintaining the vibe, and taking us out. So that's one thing I think a lot of us can get better at. It's just like better intro, outro, like make something unique. I think it's a good strategy to potentially make your track normally as you would, and then think about what can you do at the beginning and at the end that is something a little bit different but then still sets up the mood. It's interesting to go back and listen to this beginning part again because I almost forgot that we started with that almost like dubstep kind of beginning there, which is really cool. But it really evolves because, of course, I hope you all noticed the name Who Said Drill in 6/8. But of course, we get these epic drill 808s. I'm going to say this is like almost like your own genre that you created here, Hydrotex. This is a very strong entry. And I want to say thank you for submitting it. It's very creative. I hope to hear more of this kind of style from you in the month of October because... oh boy, we got Halloween and things are spooky and it would be cool to hear that kind of music. I mean, to think about the coming challenge, which is the change of the season, that's one interpretation of the challenge, I would say, would be to, what are the different holidays of the seasons or something? You go from summer and beach to like all of a sudden scary and Halloween. That could be one interpretation. Think about that. Just a thought. But we're going to keep moving here because we got lots more tracks to check out. We have another heavy hitter from none other than, you know him, you love him. It's Don Omar. Jeremiah says, love your videos and tutorials. Thanks for coming and tuning in, Jeremiah. Oof. Omar needs like a tag or something. And vocals, watch out.
Déjame que me vaya a olvidarme tus besos. Déjame que me vaya a olvidarme tus besos. Sobra, que en vano fue quererte. Total sabes de sobra, que en vano fue quererte. No creo en tus promesas.
The production is so clean. I wish Don Omar was in the chat to tell us more about it. He is the Don, exactly.
Ni bien tu voz lo suelta, ya se la lleva el viento. Siempre en el corazón guardo una chacarera. Déjame que me vaya y que con ella muera. Déjame que me vaya y que con ella muera.
He's in the Discord. He's from Argentina. 3468 are the basement of all of our native music. Yeah, nice. For sure, home field advantage there. I think Don Omar probably owns the premier studio in Argentina.
Probé las amarguras, bebí los desengaños, probé las amarguras. La miel que vos me diste no estaba hecha de flores, de algún rencor hiciste. La miel de tus amores, de algún rencor hiciste. La miel de tus amores, siempre en el corazón guardo una chacarera. Déjame que me vaya y que con ella muera. Déjame que me vaya y que con ella muera.
Epic. So that translates to... title of that translates to "You Can Let Me Go." I guess we have some insight from Don Omar, who left some insight in the Discord. He says, I had a band a few years ago and we developed many songs in that signature. So my submission for this week and more in terms of introducing something new for all of you than to compete. This is one of the tracks he did with his band. So that's super dope. Yeah, it's so strong. You can tell like all the players in this band are strong. The production is obviously super strong. I mean, like, take some mix notes for sure. Even if you don't make this genre of music, like the way things are placed across the stereo field is a big highlight of this track. How every part sort of has its own place in the mix, right? Like, listen to those keys. But you also have guitar playing chords. How do they fit together and not compete against each other? Part of it is range, part of it is one is over here, one is over there. Bass rock solid in the middle. Very important too, nothing's getting in the way of those vocals. They are dead there in the center. Nothing's overtaking them. And then in this moment, you have that little time for everything to jam, but that organ takes the place and the vocals are back. So, you know, I obviously don't make this kind of music. However, for any of us out there, I think many of you in the chat probably don't make this kind of music. But there is something to take from all genres that you're listening to. Doesn't matter if you make that genre or not. Like, I could learn so much about mixing just from listening to this. And not just mixing, the song structure is really good too. I especially loved this section. YJ says 10 out of 10 a bop. Yes, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's all super good sounds and stuff too, man. I could listen to that all day. Thank you, Don Omar, for that submission. Shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for showing that to us, introducing us to that type of music. Great. We're going to keep it going. Next up, we have Subzero with, it's called Boogie Bop, I think is how I'm supposed to say this. Boogie Bop by Subzero. Let's give a listen. Oh, Wizlow saw sick live videos of the band. That's cool. All right, this is an example of one that is just like not in 6/8 at all. Don't believe me? Count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 4. And I think for many, this statement can be said. We forgive you. We're a forgiving community here at Subzero. Nonetheless, let's give a listen. I know Subzero has been working on their production game. It's kind of new to the scene. And I feel like Subzero is keeping things simple this time around, which is a good choice for many beginners. It seems like a mostly sample-based track, other than like the keyboard instrument, but bringing in like the jazz sample, think at the beginning, and then that cinematic sample. Doesn't sound terrible. Like this sample, this string sample is a good one, and I like the way it's processed. If Subzero did that themselves, or if it came lo-fi like that. And that synth sound is so cool, that bass synth. I wish we got a little bit more of that. Yeah, Subzero, I don't know if you're in the chat currently, but I just, like, even though it's not like a perfect, like it's not in 6/8, so it's not a perfect example of the challenge. But I will say, having heard your attempts before in the challenges, that I can tell that you're refining your creativity. And this track is probably the most creative that I've heard from you so far. I think those, your ear for the two samples that you chose, like that sax sample that comes in at the beginning and those string samples that come in later, those are very good samples to use. And at first you would think, oh, a jazzy sax sample and a more dramatic string sample, maybe they wouldn't fit together in a song, but I think actually they fit together. And then you've got those chords, which actually sound pretty good. I feel like in the past I've talked about, you know, struggling with harmony and stuff. But the chord progression you picked is very good. And I think a lot for this track that could improve comes down to some of the mixing. Like your drum pattern, for instance, it almost sounds like slightly 8-bit, like you put a bunch of redux on it, which maybe that's the sound you're going for. That's great. If you did want it to sound lo-fi, though, I would have taken out a bit more of the high frequencies, especially from those hi-hats. And getting the drums to gel with the rest of the instrumental, I think, is important. It's interesting that the hi-hats, for me, are like really popping out of the mix, and the kick is almost like a little too subtle. And I can hear like where you would think the 6 is now, but yeah, it's not. But appreciate the attempt. But I can hear that you were thinking about the number 6 in this. But that kick being like dun, 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 dun. I would do like just study a bit more kick patterns and rhythms so you can really execute what you want to do. Oh boy. And potentially sidechaining. I think I talk about sidechaining all the time, but sidechaining, very light and subtle, easier way to get your kick to cut through, but this kick could be a lot more robust mix-wise too, just beefing up that low end a bit. Just a bit. And the reason I give Subzero so much props for this, even though it isn't the challenge, is like, listen to this cool synth sound. Like, it pretty much departs from what the rest of the track did here at the end, and I think that that's really cool. I wouldn't think to do that. So I think there's some kind of good instinct happening there. But nonetheless, folks, I think a lot of people struggled with the 6-8. But hey, that's a tough challenge, and that's okay. That's why we do this. It is a challenge anyway. Let's keep it rolling. Next up, we have Wizlow with Dawn 2068. Wizlow, step to the front of the stage. What's up, JML? Wizlow, you gotta explain this to me, my friend. What time signature is this in? Probably not 6-8 enough. I mean, I can't imagine the Galaxy Brain stuff that was going on in some of these projects where you're all setting the time signature to 6-8. I'll talk about it later. This is just straight up in 4. I can't imagine like what some of these projects look like, where the bars are lining up. Michael G says, I'm counting it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Not a chance. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nonetheless, it sounds pretty cool. Someone tell Murky Birkins what we got going on here. I do like the title, Dawn 2068. So it's a little bit of a different type of music for you, huh? And you also said in your description, went a little maximal on this, which I would also disagree with. I'm running it back. I would say that this is relatively minimal. And peaceful. I don't think it's maximalist at all. Alright, but there were some key things that I did like your organic percussion sounds. Maximal as far as number of plugins. Ah, yes. We just can't see that on the other side, I guess. Made your own pigments patch. Nice. Yeah, but this is the bass line is strong. I don't know if you played bass or... Oh no, it's a synth bass, yeah. But that bass riff is something that I really wanted to point out. That's a really catchy riff. And I'll just say, I'm not gonna harp on this, but for those of you that struggled with the 6/8 thing and ended up coming out with full-on like 4-to-4 or 4/4 tracks, it's not about what the DAW says. It's not about, the settings that you set it to. It is about the feel. You have to listen to some 6/8 tunes and get that feel, and then set your DAW to 6/8, and then build a track in that feel. But yeah, it's cool because it's almost got like a housey vibe. I would like to hear more vibes like this from you, Wizlow. Thank you for submitting that. It's very hard to do the Bandcamp thing because there's no like slider. I wish I could fade it in and out. You know how it is. But here we go. Continuing on. Yes, Murky Birkins, too late, and the challenge was 6/8, not 11/8. But next time, participate in the challenge next time. All right, next up we have Familiar Face, who brings us cool DAW footage. We have, you know him, you love him, Stephen Scholes. It's like a Celtic track, right? Yeah. In 6/8, never tried an odd number on my music. Both even numbers, but heard. We can look at those instruments here. I'd say this is going to fall under the 3/4 category as well. But I like the little inside look we get here. In fact, let me do this. So cinematic, yes. Got some of that BBC. For sure 3/4, by the way, and just see if you can kind of feel the difference. 1, 2, 1. Nice attention spent to automation and things here to get this natural sound. Count to 6 and 8 notes. However, it is about the feel. It is not about the number. This flute's a little "My Heart Go On," "My Heart Will Go On"-ish, no? to describe it is 6/8 tends to sound a bit more swung. Thank you, Nate. That is a good way of describing it. 6/8 is spelled as if it were 2/4, but the quarter notes being triplets. Trying to wrap my brain around that for a minute. Yeah, 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a, yeah, I guess. Yes, thank you for that submission. Do not autoplay. Steven, cinematic as always. I think it's interesting that you went for the Celtic vocal vibe. I didn't get any insight though into I tried to create a Celtic epic piece. Yeah, okay. 8 Dios Lori. Cool. And a little bit of Lord of the Rings vibes. Yes. Very, very cool. All right, let's keep rolling with the entries, my friends. All right, here we go. This one's by Young. Called Last Minute. I'm pretty sure this one is not 6/8 at all either. But thank you, Young. You're a neat face here, I think. The short one as well. I mean, the Foley is cool, but you will all hear the 4/4 pattern here in a bit. Oh, YJ, that's you. Hello. YJ, have you submitted before? Oh, cool. Well, thanks for submitting for the first time. It's an interesting one to jump in on and a challenging one to jump in on. And I hope you will submit to future ones, because what this little snippet that we've heard here is actually really good. I'm just going to run it back for a moment. I think probably the most interesting part is definitely the Foley sounds that you have here in the beginning. It's cool, but I think you could have built up a bit more of an atmosphere here at the beginning, because for a while, this goes on for some time, like over 30 seconds. It's just kind of like these weird Foley noises, and then the chord progression and the bass line starts to build in. I would have given us a hint of the rhythm a little sooner. And I don't know. The Foley sounds, the thing is, if you're trying to create an atmosphere with those Foley sounds, instead of putting them dead center, I would have like kind of spaced them around a little bit, so it sounds like the sounds are happening around us with the music happening dead center. The music is the thing we can hold on to, and the tension is getting added by the Foley if it's happening all around, you know? Then we build into this, which is just straight up like 4/4. There's some interesting ideas here. I think you could have been a little more creative with the vocal sample thing, though. It's a little bit like dry, and then it just kind of repeats. So it's like one melody. You could do a counter melody with it. You could make the sound more interesting, thicken it up with some chorus or something, instead of just being like a totally dry, like chopped vocal sample. But nonetheless, it's a catchy melody for sure. It's easy to walk away from and be humming and singing, which is good. But when you have such fast melodies like that and kind of fast music, it's easy for that to get like, I'm not saying your track is annoying, but it's easy for melodies like that to get annoying for a listener. because they happen so fast and you hear them so many times, you know? But yeah, this awesome synth with that very clean piano. And I like what you did with the rhythm here. I think that was maybe an attempt to say, oh, maybe 6/8. But it's not quite, but I think that's pretty good. Peace out, Ed. Thanks for chilling. But I could definitely see it in like a Minecraft edit or something like that. You know, that's what it reminded me of immediately. Moving on. Thank you, by the way, YJ. I hope you do our next challenge because I would love to hear your take on the change of the seasons. All right, let's keep it going here. We've got our friend Viner-esque. Let's give a listen. Another example of 3/4. JML says it's been a hectic month of production and work, but can't wait now that I have a new MIDI keyboard. Awesome. We love that feeling. Please do a 13/8 challenge. We will not be doing a 13/8 challenge. The thing you have to remember, because Larryboy says sound 6/8 to me, is you can count 3/4 songs. You can count to 6. Just listen for the strong beats, my friend. You can count 6 on any 3/4 beat. Literally. Thank you, Nate. Nate is holding it down in the chat. It has a duplet feel rather than a triplet feel of 6/8. No, not halftime. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I can count 6 on a 4/4 beat if I want to. You definitely can. You can count to any number on any beat. I'm just saying, with the accents, of course you can count to 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the same thing as counting to 3 2 times. Anyway, first of all, this is a very, not quite noir, but kind of, I almost want to say it's like a, I don't know what makes me think this, maybe the album art, but like a gothic, like sort of beat, like a Monster Mash-esque kind of vibe a bit, which I think is cool. I think it sounds like a Game Boy game, not 8-bit in the way that it's a Game Boy game, but like it could be a video game soundtrack, which I think is pretty good. Yes, thank you for the submission, Viner-esque. Appreciate it. And now, it would work on Castlevania. Yes, Larryboy, you're totally right. That is the reference. All right, and now, people of Earth, it is time to talk about the top three. The top three standout beats this week will go home with a $100 ADSR voucher, ADSR T-shirt, cool Discord role. And the number one standout will go home with a couple new plugins. So let's go. Let's do this. I have a couple, I try to spread the love. I always say that. Try to spread the love. Some folks, like, you're going to see a couple newcomers in this and a couple people that maybe have never made it to the top three. But we're going to kick things off with one that has been in the top three before. A producer that has been putting in the work and whose vibes I just love. Let's give a listen to Saikai, a.k.a. Amelia S. in the chat. Do you hear it? Nate, you are my ally in the chat. 6'8", right? Wizlow says, you got taste, Amelia. I 100% agree with that sentiment. 3, 4, 5. Do you hear the difference, folks? Thank you. Okay, Nate is validating me in the chat. I feel better. Sorry. Please go give Saikai a follow. Deserves way more than 45 followers. Also, Saikai has been putting out music on Spotify and the rest of the streaming platforms, so go listen there as well. Just phenomenal lo-fi beats. Perfect example of 6'8" executed well in this genre. Says I do notice a difference. All right, I'm glad. It is that swung sort of triplet feel. Just beautiful atmospheres. I mean, talk about a producer that's come so far. Amelia, remind us when you all started producing so we can go home and all of us who have been doing it for years can just go home and cry ourselves to sleep. Remind us in chat. But Amelia, congratulations. Thank you for submitting, and congrats on being in the top 3 this week. Next one. I just thought this was a pretty cool vibe, and I think they're new to the community. So, 3 months exactly. I want to give them all a shout. Give them a shout. We have NEARM. Some cool sounds in this one. Give it a listen. And another clear execution of 6'8". If you're getting you're sensing a theme here. They say what a frustrating mess, but I think it's very I don't know, something it's giving like peaceful. I don't know how to describe it. Oh, it's Remalox in chat. I didn't realize that. Amazing, Remalox. Thank you for the submission. It's like a almost Animal Crossing-esque vibe, like that's what I was thinking of. I don't know if like this icon is pushing me that way. I mean, the vibey synths are for sure not Animal Crossing, but I just think the overall vibe is Animal Crossing. But it has a very warm sound, Remolox, so shout out to you on that. Thank you for that. Sun is setting. Another very clear execution of the 6A. I'm just going to wind it back so you can all count. 1 to 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a. Do you hear the difference? It's going to be very hard for me to count out a normal 3 in contrast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I hope you all can hear that very clear difference. Rather than 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hope that I'm explaining that clearly. And the last up here, wanted to give it to somebody who has submitted many times in the past, and I think executed a pretty good sound here. It's a short one, but nonetheless, they're here a lot. Want to spread the love, so congrats to Microlag on this entry. It's a little spooky. Album art's a little on the nose. And another good execution of 6-8. If you notice my top 3. Good job, Remolox, yeah. Is Microlag in the chat? Master Microlag. I like the harpsichord sound. I don't know if it's supposed to be harpsichord, but it's what it reminds me of. And it's just a clear, simple 6-8 example. Somebody who's been definitely putting in the work over the week. So shout out to you, Microlag. Wanted to give you a shout this week. Go home with some new plugins, that cool voucher, t-shirt, etc. Wish we could have had more time in that track. Could have been a little longer. But I like the ominous beginning. But it's almost like it's trap instrumentation with a slightly medieval feel, because it's got that plucked instrument, which is very like harpsichord-esque. I'm sure it's just like a guitar, picked guitar preset or something, but I think it sounds pretty cool. And it's very simple. A lot of people are complimenting the subs, of course. That's a nice thick bass. This is a good example of very simple instrumentation, not doing too much, not trying to galaxy brain the challenge, just keeping it very simple. I appreciate that. Gonna try to reward more folks like that. Don't overthink things, my friends. Don't overthink things. I think a lot of people got caught up in overthinking the challenge this week, but that's okay. The whole point of the challenge is you're doing something hard. So if you struggled, if you felt like you were doing something and it wasn't quite working, if you felt slightly defeated, guess what? That's okay, because that's the point of a challenge. When we feel too comfortable is when we stop progressing, right? So doing these challenges is very important to your growth as a musician, as an artist, as a producer, and you should feel that way. If you're not feeling that way, then you're too comfortable. That's okay. So if you didn't win this week, that's okay. We do these challenges every other week. Please go ahead and submit for the Change of the Seasons challenge. Would love to hear your take on the Change of the Seasons. This is much more conceptual, much more, I would say, subjective. We are going to be looking for that clear, distinct change between 2 seasons in your track. So keep that in mind for the next challenge. I think a lot of you will come up with some really good stuff. Thank you to everybody who did submit this week. You're all growing and getting better and better as producers, and I'm stoked for that. So shout out to all of you in this great community. Go give the artists you heard today a follow. If you can, give them a shout in the Discord. Love all around, my friends. But we'll be back next week, next Wednesday, so can't wait to see you then. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on for this channel because there are lots of good live streams. I know Jane does really cool mixing tutorials on here. Alina Smith, who's a fantastic producer, she has the show tomorrow. And then after you watch Alina's show tomorrow, you can jump right over to my channel because I will be going live at 12 noon PST with a very big announcement happening tomorrow on my stream and at the beginning of the day tomorrow. So watch the heck out. Big stuff coming tomorrow from me, youtube.com/Tatro if you don't already know, at Tatro, Taetro on Instagram, where you can follow me. And big stuff coming tomorrow, so hope you can all tune in. First to Alina's show, then you have a little lunch break, then over to my show on my channel. You know what you can do. Join the Discord, subscribe, notifications, all that good stuff. Shout out to all the submissions today. Really appreciate you all. That is going to be it. I will see you all next Wednesday here on the ADSR channel and tomorrow on my channel. That's it. This has been Tatro for ADSR. Have a good one.